Hello and welcome to round 23 of Fragmaster's GTI Thursday series in Live for Speed. Tonight with both the XFG and the XRG at Aston. National. I'm Peter Butcher. You're watching Sim Broadcasts, and tonight in the commentary box alongside me, it's not Zdravko. He's driving. It's Travis Mehlinger. Hi, Travis.
Hello. How are you doing, Pete?
Really good. Ready for some racing in Live for Speed. It's been a while. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on the airwaves. We had the 6 hours of Kyoto that you were a part of, and now we're back for some slightly slower action at Aston National. Let's have a look at the combo for tonight's event. We have two 11-lap races around AS3. The national configuration, 5.6 kilometers, 3.5 miles, and this track is, well, it's colloquially known as the Oval of Aston, especially in these cars, because it's not much an event when you're on the straights and the first couple of corners. But then we have two tight hairpins and then a kind of meandering back straight, then a hairpin and a chicane before we head back to start finish. So as I mentioned, we have 11 lap races tonight. The first race is, as the starting grid is as a result of qualifying, and then we'll have a reversed top 15 for race 2 in around about half an hour's time. So the drivers are probably getting ready in the background. So we'll very quickly talk about what's happening in the drivers and teams standings. So let's first of all take a look at the drivers' championship. Leading the way at the front is, of course, TJ for Road Appraiser with 898 points, ahead of Yarmalo, Mantas, Fatal, Donny, Rayman, Loco, Magic, Igor, and Twincam. Then we've got Unite, Upsask, Rick Cardle, Koivunen, Fnatic, Renault Coots, 136 miles an hour, Rick 98, Owner, and Pablo rounding out the top 20. And Travis, as you can see, TJ has got quite the lead going on at the front, and we'll just let the rest of the results cycle through until we hit the grid for the racing action. It's been a frenetic season, Travis, and we are on, I think this is the 5th round we're covering of the championship so far. But yeah, it's always exciting at Aston National, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I picked a good one today.
You did.
It shows in the qualifying standings so far that I think there's a premium on straight line speed, because you see a lot of XRGs and going up and down the list a couple times, 0 XFGs. So the XRs dominating the GTI selection today. So this should be good. Lots of high speed running, cars running nose to tail. I usually watch these while I'm working. I have it on the side on an iPad. Today will be fun to be in the commentary box.
It will be for sure. We're almost at the end of these results. I did say there were a lot of them, so we'll get these finished and then on to the racing action. There we are, 109 drivers. Blimey, that's a lot, isn't it? And yeah, we think the drivers are readying up in the background, Travis, as far as I'm aware. But we probably just have time then to look at the teams championship, and it's Born to Race who lead with 2,530 points ahead of Road Appraiser. TJ and his teammates doing the honours there to keep in second place. Then it's Sidus, Air Attack, World Class Lions, Fragmasters, Iron, Race Green, Furtive Racing, and BMW rounding out the top 10. And I think we have a second page of results for this one as well, so we'll just show that as well. And we do, in fact. 30 teams represented so far throughout the 22 rounds that there have been in this championship so far. So yeah, a pretty the series is alive and kicking, Travis. Great to see, and we have another full contingent of drivers waiting to get going in the wings.
We do, and speaking of drivers ready to get going, qualifying concluded just a moment ago. As we see the two cars in the GTI class there on the screen, the XFG front-wheel drive, XRGT the rear-wheel drive. Again, dominated by XRGs today. There's a premium on straight line speed. These very long straights connected by big sweeping corners and a handful of hairpins where drive out of the corner really matters. Qualifying is concluded in the background. We can see that because there are a lot of cars on track taking the last few seconds before the race actually starts. And if the warm-up is any indication, I think this is going to be a fun gaggle off the starting line when we actually kick off the race, Pete.
Yeah, look how close the times are here. Fnatic for Air Attack on pole alongside the number 25 from Yes Motorsport. So there we are. So let's see what we've got going on in this race, and let's see what happens as we head down to turn 1, because we are going live right now. It is Unite who is the second place position there in our race this evening. So let's get some Let's get this show on the road, Travis. Here come the lights for the start of race 1, an 11-lap dash around Aston National, and we are away. And it is Fnatic who gets a good start, a very good start, in fact, ahead of Unite there, pulling a gap already. And, well, we've got a lot of cars on this grid. How many have we got? We've got 39 qualifiers tonight. And these top two are taking the lead quite considerably already over this driver, YZEX, for Born to Race.
Yeah, there's in the background. There's nearly some carnage in the background. I'm watching from the back to see the action from numbers point of view. Cars were briefly 4 wide with this pink car at the very back. I believe that is Lara, who was all the way off on the grass and then back in the circuit. A few cars in the grass further back as we watched them go 3 wide out of this bend in the very front. So far, everyone through safely, pretty well behaved. Still a lot of cars running line astern, which you don't want to do when you get to the hairpin after this series of sweeping bends. But with this many cars running this closely, we'd expect to see, I think, a little bit more carnage through the first few corners, but so far we're clean. This is a good start.
Yeah, Fnatic still has the lead into the first set of hairpins, which is crucial. You need to have the lead on the first lap, otherwise you'll just get swallowed up by all of the drivers behind you. And we're going to start getting some sector times now as they come across the across the next timing line. Unite there, tucked in behind. A little bit of pressure then from TJ, who's made up some places at the start. And it looks like Mantas, who is YZEX there, is getting swallowed up a little bit, down to 4th place now. And also alongside Donny, who just slips through, I'm noticing there. So, yeah, Donny pushing forward.
And in the background there of that shot before they came in front of the camera, you could see the cars in the background coming through 3 wide out of the hairpin. They were 5 wide briefly, cars spanning the entire breadth of the track. So tight action, but still front to back, still very clean, starting to spread out at the front. We could see cars running 2 by 2, but more or less falling into single file running. So we see there Fnatic through this 180-degree right-hand bend with Unite on his bumper. These two coming through shortly to conclude the first lap, while there's up in the background a little bit of bumping and going, but I think we're going to finish the first lap completely clean with all the runners still on the track. Pete, this is a good start.
This is a good start, and as we head through the chicane, this is where you could jinx it, Travis, because those tyres do come at you quite quickly. We've seen it several times this year in various series already, as cars already going into the pit lane, choosing to come in at the very first time of asking. We've got 3 or 4 cars in the pit lane right now, I think, and yeah, in fact 5 cars going into pit lane. They have to make 1 mandatory pit stop in each of the races tonight. They don't have to do any work, they just have to stop in their box and drive along. And here we go, TJ, the championship leader for Road Appraiser there in the blue XRG, making a move on Unite. And oh, he's got a bit slidey in there, Travis. That's going to hurt his exit.
Yeah, he really has. Both of them sliding a lot. That'll scrub the tires, put quite a bit of heat in them. Not as big a problem in these cars as it would be in the proper racing machines, but it's certainly not doing them any favors. And it does, as you said, scrubs a whole lot of speed. You can see the gap between first and second. Fnatic a bit of a gap now on the bigger slide by Unite behind him. And continuing to spread out. You mentioned pit stops, Pete, how a few cars had stopped. 5 drivers did. One of them was Number from the very back. He nearly got a speeding penalty because he got tapped in the rear right as he was crossing the pit entry line, but managed to hold the brake, get the car slowed down. So a few drivers in and out of the pits. Everyone going around cleanly. All 39 drivers that took the start still out there on track.
Yeah, great stuff. We're watching TJ. He's going to be pestering the back of that air attack car any moment now. In the background, we've got some side-by-side action as well. Here's Jarek Attila.
Sorry, Pete. There's a big spin at the hairpin. I couldn't see who it was that went around, but there was a blue car and it might have been a race green car. A red and green machine coming out of the sequence of hairpins.
Yeah, there we go.
So a couple cars have spun off. There's some damage.
It's Nozzle.
And a couple of those cars that had spun now 3 wide down this very long and sweeping, I was about to say sweeping back straight. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The back part of the circuit at top speed, 3 wide still through this bend in the back. You'll see them coming into the shot in just a moment's time under these BMW signs. And there is this gaggle of cars, a couple of these cars off a moment ago, and now, yeah, pass job done into the hairpin as we look to the front one more time, following Unite behind Fnatic.
Yeah, and TJ, well, he's got his work cut out again because he's got Unite in the slipstream and Mantas, who's managed to close back up again. So let's see, they go side by side across the line, in fact. So TJ is not going to have an easy day here today. He's going to have to work at this. Keep an eye in the background, of course, for Gabor, who's climbing up the order, currently P19 or P20, roughly. And yeah, he's making his way up through the field as well. But Unite then has the second place position back as we head into the first corner for the third time in race one. Mantas fancies a slice of that podium as well. Look at this gaggle, Travis, as we come out of turn one. You've got Rick Cardle there in the Sidus purple livery leading one of the other Born to Race cars. That's Rayman. And Pekka Koivunen in there for World Class Lions in the mix. So a good mix of teams at the top. In fact, pretty sure we've got I think the only duplicate drivers are Sidus and Born to Race in the top 10.
Yep, you're right. Yeah, actually, Twin Cam just snuck into the top 10. So 3 Born to Race cars up there in the top 10. But otherwise, as you said, pretty good spread. 2 Sidus drivers, and then a whole bunch of teams represented. Here we see cars going 3 wide again coming into this hairpin. The car, I can't tell who that is in the white car. It's not Pekka Koivunen, but on the inside
It's
of Pekka Koivunen,
Ona.
it looked like, yeah, Ona looked like he was ready to make it 3 wide and then thought better of it because it's not much space to put 3 cars in. Getting spread out further back, but I noticed at the very back, Pete, there is one driver, I think it was Hachiroku, who we must have missed an earlier incident. We saw a little bumping and running further back on the previous lap, but Hachiroku way far back off the tail end of the lead lap, so he has obviously been off and back on pretty badly somewhere. A pit stop doesn't account for it because there are 5 runners at the back of the pack who did make pit stops much closer to the main line, so Hachiroku has his work cut out for him today. As we see, that's Yari ahead of another world-class, no, it's not a world-class Lions car. That's Firestarter coming through up to 15th. Still lots of running side by side, getting spread out, but this is a bit treacherous, Pete, especially through here to go side by side next to those tires as we see Unite clip or just barely avoid clipping one of them.
That was a full-on clobber. He's going to lose a lot of time down the straight. He was overtaken by Mantas on the previous lap, so he's down to P4. Good work from Mantas, and Mantas is closing up to the back of TJ. Could he have a run in the slipstream up into turn one? Probably. I think he's close enough for a run. Here we go. Good motion from Mantas at the moment.
Yeah, that was 1 car length in front of the camera, and now side by side, he'll have to jump on the brakes, and we'll probably see it's really hard to get this car slowed down enough to make this corner. It's deceptively quick in these cars, and you can see the slip angle. He gets it slowed down perfectly, just clips the curb down below the white line and does the, in American racing, in dirt track racing, we would call this the slide job, where he lets the car run out in front of the car behind him. Makes it so the trailing car can't accelerate and try to overtake, and he's got a job done. And here, looking at Luke, about to make it 3 wide in the middle. Ooh, good choice.
We like 3 wide racing, but we also
like 3 wide racing
cars in races.
Exactly, we do, and we still have. We said 39 at the top, Pete. It's actually 40th. That's the car we were looking at the back. Hachiroku is actually the 40th runner right now. So we started 40 cars.
Right, I don't have him on my timesheet, so somehow he's managed to sneak in. I'll have to fix that, but there we are. We just saw Luke go for a great move. He overtook 2 cars there. He's in a bit of a fight now, but good move on the home straight.
Further back, I just saw the split timings go by, and Gabor just set the best split 1. He's still pretty far down the order there in 18th, but running quicker times than anyone else, slowly making progress. It's going to be a tall order for him to get all the way up to the top, but we'll remind everybody that the second race is reverse grid of the top 15. Is that right, Pete?
It is indeed.
Yeah, top 15. So if he can get himself up to 14th, 15th position, he will be in the catbird seat for a good finish in race 2.
Indeed, I think I've managed to get Hachiroku back on our timing screens. I hope, but we'll have to find out in a moment. But there we are. It is all as it was at the front. But Fnatic is leading the way, and I think Isaac Price has rubbed off a little bit on Mantas because he's currently running in second after his effort in the 6 hour. I mean, he's a fast driver, but I didn't expect to see him in P2 today.
No, good job by him, and he did, as you said, ran well in the 6 hour. Since you mentioned it, and we're watching cars getting spread out here, not a whole lot of action right at the moment. I'll bring it back to that 6 hour event and how much fun it was to watch many of these drivers competing in that event. Many drivers not here today, but also a lot of participation from the crowd who shows up for GTI Thursdays. And really hoping that a lot of these drivers will want to do another one of those 6 hours, or dare we say a 12-hour or 24-hour endurance event, because I think everyone on track today who participated enjoyed it, and I know we did, Pete.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's one. We love endurance racing. It's in our blood, and it's great to have it back in LFS. But obviously, that's not what we're watching tonight. This is absolutely sprint racing. 11 laps to get the job done, and TJ, well, he's currently still one step off the podium, and he needs to get past. So does Owner. Owner is about to slip out of the top 10. Is he here in a battle with Magic as Magic slips up the inside? The man who is pretty much responsible for the running of the GTI Thursday series is a driver from Race Queen, Travis.
He is indeed. Looks like we're about to get another crossover move here. Magic trying to get the job done. The wide entry after getting past, and then they're going to drag race all the way through the bend here. There's a slight dip downhill and then a climb uphill after this, the dip beyond this rise. And Magic is not going, or Owner, I should say, is not going anywhere. I think these two are going to run side by side all the way up the hill. He's just got the position now, but could try to take it again on the brakes. I think it looks like, Pete, he might just have a little bit more grunt, a little bit more top speed. Not many adjustments you can make in these cars that would affect that other than gearing, but you could see he was able to pull up the hill. Ooh, a little bit of fender-to-fender contact there, a bit wide. Went a little bit deep on the entry, and now this will be treacherous going side by side into the chicane. We'll see which of these two drivers is willing to give.
Yeah, it's Owner who gives the space and ultimately runs himself into the into the front of Asker, who's compromised on the exit now. Wasn't able to get the best chicane exit that he needed, and that is going to let the battle between these two go on for another lap.
Yeah, I think that was the right idea by Arska, but a little bit too optimistic and a little bit too late, trying to follow as closely as he could into the chicane, and ends up making just a little bit of a bump, compromise his own exit, and he will watch these two fight side by side for the better part of an entire lap. This will be costing these two time. This is not the fastest way to go around, side by side, tiptoeing next to one another, and you can see just behind these guys that Arska is closing in once again. Yeah,
they're still side by side. This is crazy. I mean, yeah, it often happens though in GTI racing around here. Like I said, it's an oval, pretty much, when you're doing these sorts of speeds. So you can make either of the lines work, and these two, well, they're making it work, but it's not fast.
Yeah, and Arska will be relishing this. These two, while they're compromising their own lines, they're not able to drive the optimal line around the track. You can see Arska right up behind them once again as cars touch behind them. That's Yarik Attila and Gabor and Orhan behind them. The order shuffling a little bit. Fnatic still in front, and TJ has been harassing Unite for the last few laps, right there with him on his bumper. A little bit of a gap now, but not going anywhere. Yeah, you said it earlier. TJ has his work cut out for him, and so far, it's Unite's not made it easy, and TJ has not found a way around.
Yeah, Gabor's up to P15. I've just noticed here. He's currently battling with Orhan. He's on the inside now, so this will be for P14, in fact, for Gabor. We'll have to refer to our qualifying standings. He always qualifies massively out of position for these sorts of races. He tries to go from the back to the front, does Gabor, and no different today.
Well, we've seen this from some drivers in the past at different events. Gabor is one. I can remember one such performance from Yoni Katila too, where sometimes they choose to make it a bit more challenging than they might otherwise. So Gabor, I think I think he
Oh,
certainly
well,
has the
goodness
pace to
me.
qualify up front. As the tires go everywhere. And, wow, I'm surprised everybody managed to get through there cleanly. As we see, there were cars dipping off to the
Yeah,
side of
that's
the circuit
clever.
on the
So
left there, Pete.
Gabor went into the pits. He saw the slow cars ahead of him, and he thought, well, I'm just going to get caught up with those guys. I don't want to stop making progress. So straight in the pit lane for Gabor. He went in with who did he go in with? Was that Yari Katilla? Yes, it was. Oh, and they're racing out the pit lane. This is brilliant. Now, I've always said it, the AS3 and the GTIs are like, well, name a better combo, I'll wait kind of thing. GTI racing, I'm going to put my old man hat on now, Travis. Back to the days of CTRA and car game when, the GTIs were on, and this was always the track that would alternate. You'd go to AS3, you'd have to choose another track in Aero to go somewhere else, but then everybody else would just, after that track was done, we'd go straight back to AS3, and we'd spend all night racing around AS3 in GTIs. It is one of the most entertaining tracks to race these cars in, because you end up with these side-by-side nose-to-tail battles the whole race. And LFS's network physics are fantastic, and you can do that lap after lap after lap after lap, and the fun, it never gets old.
It does not. A car game. That is a name I've not heard in a very long time. You've been more active than I have through the years. I kind of rejoined the community in the last couple years with sim broadcasts. But either way, I don't know that I've read the name, let alone heard the name car game in a long time. And you're right. This harkens back to those days, and this being a very popular combination. These cars have always been popular. They're so fun to drive. They move around. They're kind of like they feel like a low-powered stock car, and especially around a circuit like this, where you get to go really fast and then make the car dance on the brakes and slide it around these slower, these low medium speed corners. This is a good show and a nice homage to the days of the past.
Yeah, I just wonder how many of the old guard who would see a race like this happening on YouTube would be nostalgic enough to want to join in. I'm sure it would be. I mean, every time I watch GTI racing in LFS, I just want to get back in and just have a race because it's just so entertaining. The problem is the fast guys, like the four guys we're watching at the front here, they're on another level these days. The level at which these guys drive at is insane. They barely make any mistakes. They put laps in that boggle the mind, lap after lap after lap, and they still have time to fight each other, as is going on here with TJ and Unite, side by side again for the final step on the podium. 3 laps to go after this one.
Yeah, we were having a nice chat, and I think we must have missed Unite getting a bad run out of the last corner. Perhaps he clipped the tires. We just didn't see it. But TJ threw pretty easily. Now he's got it was about a car length gap, and he had a bit of a slide, more than Unite did out of the first sweeping bend. So they're going to run side by side up to the hairpins. Unite is just behind him. I don't know if he has enough momentum to get on the inside. He doesn't. He is properly behind now. So TJ can defend this position. Unite has his work cut out for him. We'll need to kind of finesse a way by, throw a dummy, maybe try to make an alternate line work. But TJ on the brakes now and into this hairpin through the normal line. I think he has the position well in hand.
Yeah, he nailed it. He's super good in these cars, but he's not, like I said at the beginning, he's not having it all his way. He didn't get it done in quali, and he's only P3. He would want P1, of course, to open up his championship lead. And of course, with Mantis ahead of him, B2R leading the team's championship, he can't afford that either. And there aren't that many weeks left in the year. It runs all year this season, but we are approaching the halfway stage, so he needs to either rally his teammates a bit, because Luke, all the way down in P22, isn't going to be doing much for him in terms of the team's championship.
No, he won't. And you say not that many events in the year and not that many laps left into this race. Fnatic coming up to this hairpin before the chicanes to round out lap 8, start lap 9. So they'll have 3 more laps. We're about 3/4 of the way through this event. We go just tabbing back through the field. Most everyone running a line astern now. I've been backing through the field now and then to see if there's any good action, and I think most everyone has gotten strung out. If we look further back, we can see that Gabor had taken 15th, maybe 14th position. He was fighting with somebody right before they caught traffic and came into the pits. So Gabor in 17th. He wants to make up a couple more positions and take 15th. There aren't many people on the circuit faster than him.
Fnatic's gone in the pit lane.
Yeah, sure. Yep, he has indeed. So that'll drop him down. I'm going to guess to about 10th or 12th.
Well,
Coming
this could
out
be
in
crucial.
8th
He's
in
going to
this.
be coming out in this gaggle, and he doesn't want that. Is he going to come out in clean air? That's what he needs. He's
Yeah, I
pitted
think he's.
early.
Yeah, he's going to come
I
out
think he's going to be
just
okay.
behind them.
Yeah, he's okay. Oh, I don't know. He doesn't want to get caught up with any slower cars. He can't afford to because the margin between the top four was like a second, and you can't afford to lose half a second when you're fighting for the lead in a race like this.
He's come out with clear air behind, so nobody harassing him on his bumper, and then a bit of a buffer in front, and the cars ahead of him are not racing that closely, so he can start working his way up and maybe get one or two of those positions back. Run fast laps, see how the final pit stops for his competitors ahead shake out, and he might just maybe he could squeak out the lead. I think that's probably a tall order, but it'll be close. It'll be right there with the pack again. Anyway. Gabor in the back has secured 15th, so he pitted, lost a few positions, now back into 5th position. So right now he is in the top spot, accounting for a reverse in the next race.
Yeah, that's true. And Rick Cardle, well, he gets done by Iron Donny there on the brakes. And yeah, back to the order they were in before. Rick will have to find another way through to try and join his teammate up there at the top of the standings. He'll have a run here. Donny will defend the inside, and Rick will have to go all the way around the outside. Donny's a smart guy these days. I say these days, I mean it. He's come up the ranks quite a lot. In fact, he hasn't defended the inside. He's made a rookie error. He's given Rick the inside for the hairpin. I've jinxed it.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, it seemed like a lapse in concentration, because it looked like, big slide on the way in. You could see him putting down the tire marks. I don't think he realized that he wasn't as close to the edge of the circuit to defend the position, as we see Rick doing just that now, kind of just positioning the car slightly to the inside of the normal line so that Donny couldn't stick his nose in there. Now they came up to the hairpin as we see Unite jump into the pits for his mandatory pit stop. Yeah, Donny, he left the room down there, and then he made just like the slightest juke.
Here's trouble.
There's Fanatic.
Yeah,
Fanatic trying to get through this back marker.
Yeah, he couldn't do it. He caught them. He caught it seriously quick, and we're gonna have to see where he comes out in relation to Unite. Unite's on the way. He's on the way. He's at the end of the pit lane. You can just see Fnatic on the left, just shot. And is he going to have enough overspeed? Let's see.
Yeah, I think he will. He's got a bit of a slipstream, and they are both up to racing speed near
Remember, Unite was in
velocity.
third. Unite was in third here. This is not good for Fnatic. He's lost out here.
Well, he's got the momentum.
Oh, it's going to be
close. It's going to be really close. He's trying to go through the middle. Actually,
amazing.
Follows the leading car through. That's Arska in front of him.
Oh, he's going to be pushed wide though. Unite has an opportunity here. This back marker is out of cycle. Remember, the back marker I don't think has pitted yet. Even. Yeah, no, there's no way that back marker's pitted, has it?
No, that's Francis, and I don't believe he has, because Twin Cam and Isaacs were further up the order at the beginning of the race. Yeah, Fnatic. I thought
this
Fnatic
could give Manchester the win. This could give Manchester the win, because look at this now. 3 wide. You've got Fnatic and Unite now past the back marker, but now battling. That's going to hurt them dearly, and they're not going to take any, like, they're not going to be friends at this point in the race. They're going to fight as hard as they can. Meanwhile, these two just need a good in lap and a good out lap, and they've sealed the deal here.
Yeah, and they've been running quick laps. So TJ's managed to catch up to Isaac's in the lead, and they're both running pretty quickly. So the two of them, as long as they don't collect one another, make a mistake coming into the pits, which they will need to do at the end of this lap in order to fall within the rules. I think you're right, Pete. I think they will just have an edge. Fnatic still. Yeah, Fnatic couldn't get out in front of that little scrum, and now he is in the back marker, the back marker and Unite sandwich.
Yeah, Fnatic pitting that early and then ending up behind a back marker and then ending up behind Unite. Now, after Unite's pitted, has cost Fnatic the win. He should have stayed out as long as possible, because coming into the pits in the lead, several laps from the end, it's a gamble. You do not know where you're going to come out, and he's come out behind a back marker, and it's cost him. That means that these two, they just need to make this. It just needs to be clinical, and
it does. TJ got the chicane a bit wrong. He turned in a bit early and took a big chunk of the curb, went up and over the grass, and then the car was a bit wild coming through the middle. You can see Isaac's going through now. TJ needs to get in front of Pippa. Pippa jumps on the brakes and lets TJ go.
TJ's stop was not good.
Yeah. It was a bad stop by TJ. Very polite by Pippa to let TJ through, but that gap is now twice, 3 times what it was just a few seconds ago.
Here they come.
And they'll have momentum too. Are they going to get through? They are going to catch
Not
them
a
coming
chance.
into the first corner, so it will be close. But
TJ might be got.
TJ.
It was a slow pit stop. He might be at risk here, but Mantas, it's going to be 3 wide. Is it going to be 3 wide? They've got to go for it. It's the last lap.
They're going for it.
Oh my goodness me. Fnatic, that if he makes this stick, that would be impressive, but he's not quite. Still 3 wide as we head out the exit. Mantas is going to be laughing in his rearview mirror, but it is TJ who emerges in the lead at the moment. This is going to go down to the wire. It just depends. It's oval tactics again at this point, Travis, around this track.
It is, and this is tricky here because the track is so wide. He wants to defend the inside of the circuit here. He doesn't want to carry anybody into the bollards. He avoids them there, but he wants to stay on the inside of the circuit, but there's a long enough run that somebody can use the momentum to try to get by on the outside, and if you can stick on the outside, Fnatic cannot. Fnatic does the over-under. I was about to say if Fnatic can get on the outside and make the inside for this hairpin, then you have a good advantage going to the final hairpin, but that's not what Fnatic does. TJ, just a slight edge on the exit of the corner. He's actually pulling Fnatic.
Yeah, and I love this. I've just read the chat, and Ayub in the chat, obviously Ayub drives for Born to Race. He said, damn, because Ayub wants to watch a good race. He doesn't care that his teammate's winning the race. He just wants to see a good, he wants to see some action. So yeah, that's great stuff.
Yeah, the paychecks for Thursday GTI racing aren't really big enough to get worked up about your teammates winning. It's a lot more worthwhile to just see a good race. It doesn't matter who wins. We all pull for our friends and teammates, but I think we're more invested in good, close racing than our favorites winning. And this is still close coming into this corner. TJ, little bit of opposite lock, big slide into the corner.
TJ's got this. TJ's got this wrapped up. He's got to get a good chicane. Let's see what happens here. Will Fnatic be able to get a slipstream? Unite's going to be worried he's not even getting a podium out of this. Currently on the hot seat, it's Magic who might take pole for the second race. We'll have to see what goes on. Oh, that wasn't great from the Born to Race car in the lead, Mantas. And, well, TJ, has he done just enough? This is going to be a photo finish, is it?
I don't think Fnatic has. Fnatic might just have enough.
It's going to be so close. It's going to be close. Who got it?
Fnatic got him.
Oh my goodness me. Fnatic actually listed in the lead. So what happened to that? What happened there? Did Mantas get a penalty? He's not even on my timing screen here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there.
Okay, well anyway,
that got a WTF from TJ in chat, so I think he's just as confused as we are.
Well, I mean,
we'll have to ask around.
Did he leave? What happened?
Is
he on the track?
I think
I'm so confused right now.
I don't see him on the track. I'm looking. Oh, he's on the track, or he's still in the connection list, I should say. Let's look around.
What happened there?
Yeah, it shows him finished.
Oh, he has a 30-second pit lane. He has a 30-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane that we completely missed.
Yeah, well, we never followed him in the game to see that message. We were so focused on the fight because he had taken a clear lead. So that's unfortunate. So that 30-second penalty has put him so that explains, near enough as make no difference to last.
That explains how he managed to be so far ahead of TJ in the stop, because TJ, it didn't look like he did a particularly slow stop, but he came out of the pits so far behind that he didn't have a chance to come back. So Fnatic has pulled an absolute blinder. We thought he'd lost it, and side by side across the line. Look, the margin was 0-0. We'll have to get a photo finish. We'll have to check the replay, and we'll have to see whether it was in fact technically Fnatic or TJ who came across the line. Sometimes NFS can get that a bit wrong, so we'll check the replay. I'm sure the organisers will be to see just who actually secured the tiebreak, because it was a tiebreak in the end between these two.
It was, yeah, 0.00 the gap, as you pointed out. Shame our friend Mo is indisposed today. We might be able to get if he were here, we could get
I'm sure we would have had
instant
a
replay in the background.
Yeah, we would have had
this is the moment that we've been waiting for to get those great instant replays.
Yeah, that's why Ayub was upset in the chat, because his teammate got a penalty, not because of any other reason. So there we are. Yeah, that was me misreading the situation. I didn't see the penalty come in, and that's that. So yeah, TJ P2, Fnatic P1, which means let's get the results here and see just what our grid is going to look like for race number 2. Here we are then. Fnatic is declared the winner. TJ P2, Unite P3, Ricardo P4, Then it's Donny, Fatal, Koiven and Twin Cam, Rayman, and Gabor rounding out our top 10. Then we've got Sidus Monkey in P11, Owner, Asker, Magic, Firestarter, Luke, Orhan, Francis, Onifus, and Loco rounding out the top 20. So he's not even in the top 20. Where is he? Let's see how far down his results.
I think he'll have fallen down about 25th or so.
There he is. Number in P21, Rubik, P22, Hernandez, P23, and Mantas, who, with that 30-second penalty, he's going to be starting 10 places behind Fnatic at the start of the next race. Yari Katilla, P25, Tobis, 26th, Tatayem, 27th. Then Janon, Nico, and Rocket round out your top 30. Felis Chavez in P31. Then we've got Martins in P22. Cabazon in P33, Nozzle, Ortiz, Pippa, Afterburner, Rex, and Lara round out the 39 cars that finished the race. And TJ secured the fastest lap at 2:22.08. Could have been a bit faster if he hadn't been fighting the whole race, but still a stunning lap time around AS3. I mentioned during that race, Travis, that the drivers these days are on another level to what we were like back in the day. But impressive to do that sort of lap time during a race. Obviously, you got some slipstream, but it doesn't matter. You still got to put the laps together.
But great lap by a clear. Yeah, great lap by a clear margin. He was a couple tenths quicker than Unite, who has the next fastest lap that I can see. So class of the field looked like it had gotten away from him, and then in the waning moments, anything can happen, and sometimes the strangest circumstances come to pass, and he finds himself manages to bag a win with a 0.0 second margin.
Yeah, indeed. We have, there was a clock on screen and it's disappeared now, but we've got about a minute to go before the start of race 2. And on pole position, on my calculation, I think it's going to be, is it Firestarter? Let's have a look. Let's have another look at those results and see what's going on with our next grid. That is not correct. That is not the right results. Let's get up the proper ones and have a look at see what's going on. It will be Firestarter. Yeah, he was down as 15th on my list here, and according to these results, he will start our second race on pole position. So, any Air Attack fans out there? It's a good day to be an Air Attack fan, isn't it? You got the winner in the previous race, and now Firestarter starts on pole for race 2 in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this, Travis.
Yeah, I predict a good show from Gabor and Magic, both of them very quick and close to the front of the order here, with the first 15 positions from the previous race reversed, 15th to first and first back to 15th. But the guys behind them are pretty quick. So lights should be coming up in a moment. I think we'll have another good race in our hands. Pete, take it away.
Thank you very much, Travis. Yes, we are going to have a good race here. Here come the lights. And we're green as we see 39 cars again take to the track. And it is Firestarter who leads everyone away. What a fantastic sight, seeing all these cars thundering down to turn 1.
Yeah, they were running 2 by 2 at the beginning of the last race. Already close to single file in the background, though we see a little bit of jockeying for position now. I said they were running single file, and now everybody 2 by 2 as the slipstreams start to give some drivers an advantage 3 wide into the first corner. Firestarter decides to bail out of it and just give up the lead positions. It puts Arska up into the lead, and Magic fighting with him side by side. This would be close coming up to the first sequence of hairpins. I'm watching from the back, Pete, and like the first race, everyone is clean through the first series of corners. A little bit of bumping here and there, but everyone through the first half of the lap looking good.
Yeah, looking good. Look at them. They're still 2 wide. 2 wide, 2 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide in the middle here. Who we're watching there? That's Gabor. Gabor is he's qualified very high up for this race. If someone goes on the grass on the inside, very slow. Who was that? Goodness me. Couldn't tell. I think it was one of the Born to Race cars. I think it was Twin Cam, in fact. Yes, it was Twin Cam who was on the inside. Goodness me. It's like watching, this is crazy pack racing at the start of these races. It's just frenetic and awesome, and you just want to be inside a car in this race, don't you?
Yeah, and you can see cars going off in the grass in the background. That was a 4-wide traffic jam near the back of the order coming through the second of those 2 very slow hairpins. But cars getting strung out now, looking at Rick Cardall in that Sidus machine right behind one of the Born to Race cars. Or it's hard to keep track of it, but I believe that was Rayman. The order bouncing around a little bit. Going to be 3 wide up into the hairpin. Yeah, Rick Cardall might just think, well, Rick Cardall trying to defend that position. Don't think he's too far back to make a move, and I think we should see cars, starting to string out just a little bit, coming through the hairpin, too wide further back. A big slide from somebody that can't. I don't think that's a world-class Lions car coming through, but the final cars in the order through that last 180-degree corner, and now everyone coming through the chicane, the most treacherous part of the circuit when the cars are close together. We see the order snaking through. A couple people clip the tires in the background, but
Oh, we've got
stacks
some
of tires bouncing.
big hitters in the pit lane here. We've got some Fragmasters cars. That's Fatal who goes in the pit lane now. There he is. And well, after after one lap, it is Magic. Oh, we've got cars tripping over each other in the pit lane. In fact, two Born to Race cars getting involved with each other there. Not great. And there's a race out of the pit lane. But yeah, is that Yoni Katilla up to P3? It is.
Yeah, that's let's see, Unoffice in the background, a couple Born to Race machines, Rayman right behind Firestarter and Fatal. Firestarter and Fatal were side by side coming through the pits, but now getting strung out now.
Yeah, side by side, the World Class Lions cars, Oscar and Sidus Monkey. So yeah, Sidus Monkey is Yari Katilla. Yoni Katilla. We were just trying to work out who that was with that name. But yeah, there we are. Magic is under threat now from Yoni. Going to happen at some point. And they are 2 by 2 in the background as well. Oh, contact, in fact. Goodness me. I don't know whether Asker just didn't see Gabor going for the move or vice versa, but there was some argy-bargy there, Travis.
Yeah, it was a bit of sorry about the silence there for a moment. We were, as Pete said, we're trying to figure out who Sidus Monkey was. I said at the top that I was surprised Yari was here and Yoni wasn't for this kind of event. And well, there's your answer. Yoni masquerading as a as a primate.
Yeah.
So with this newfound knowledge, Yoni in front. I mentioned earlier that some guys like Yoni and Gabor like and enjoy embracing a challenge. As we see, I thought that was somebody ducking into pit lane, but I think just taking a narrow line. Yeah, that's Magic trying to defend that position. Yeah, with Yoni out front, I think this becomes a bit more interesting because we know how obscenely quick he is. As there's a little bit of bumping, cars going 3 wide away from the camera here. TJ working his way up to the order to 6th position.
Yeah, we've got a 4-wide situation almost here. Magic, Gabor, Asker, and Pekka Koivunen. This isn't going to end well, is it? It's Magic there trying to thread it through the middle. TJ and Rick Cardle are going to close up to the back of this. And Yoni is just going to be allowed to run away. Yoni, I'm not sure. Yoni is... I don't want to say this, but I'm going to anyway. I think Yoni prefers front-wheel drive, generally. I don't recall Yoni ever being an XRG specialist, so maybe he can be caught. He doesn't currently have the fastest lap of the race. That's TJ, who's in the sort of light blue car behind Magic right now. I reckon Yoni's catchable in this race, so let's see what happens. I don't think he's going to be allowed to run away with it, Travis.
Yeah, catchable, but commentators love to say that catching is one thing, passing is another, and though maybe he is, maybe he is not. For the purposes of our discussion, we'll say that maybe Yoni is not an XRG specialist, but he is incredibly talented and he's a sponge. So every second he is turning the wheel and putting his right foot down, he is learning a lot about pedaling this car around the circuit. And I think we can be sure that on every successive lap he's getting a little bit quicker.
For sure, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the fact that we have TJ in P5 and our race winner from race 1 in P10. So TJ has turned the screws and he is well on his way to securing another victory if he can. And he doesn't really have to worry about Fnatic. Fnatic is just entering the hairpin now. There he goes. And yeah, it's all going to come down to the pit stops again. Fnatic almost lost it. He almost lost that win by pitting a little bit too early, I'd have to say. But let's see. Can Yoni Katilla keep it out in the lead for a little bit longer before the rapid guys? We've got TJ in there. We've got Rick Cardle in there. We've got Pekka Koivunen and Gabor. What are they going to do? Gabor is, well, he's actually the closest to Yoni, and we'll have to compare lap times. And there we go. Yoni Katilla takes the fastest lap briefly before it's stolen away by Unite.
Yeah,
so Yoni's on pace.
Yeah, we're following Gabor and Yoni at the front, and I won't say that Yoni's gap is getting bigger, but it certainly isn't getting any smaller. There is a visible margin there. He's got about 1.2 seconds on Gabor right now. I expect it'll be pretty close to the same when they come through the next split. So Yoni looking pretty strong in front, but this man, well, the man we were just on board with, right ahead of Unite right now, or as it's Magic ahead of Unite. TJ ahead of Magic is the juggernaut. And he's come up, he started 14th position in this race. He finished second in the last one. So he's already made up a lot of ground, and he is not that far off the lead.
Yeah, he's almost got a podium already. As we see Rick Cardle slipping one by his teammate, and through he goes. So I think Unite actually lifted off there to not hold Rick up. So let's see if Rick can get involved in this race. He wasn't really much of a factor in the last race, was he, Travis? Rick, he was kind of there or thereabouts, but not on the podium. But trying to get there this time.
Now I feel like Rick's a driver, and I think we've said this before in other events, where Rick tends to be quiet and consistent. I can remember one Formula One race where well, all manner of things went wrong one way or another for different drivers. But Rick Cardle he's there and he's consistent. There's not a lot of flash, no surprises, but he's just consistently strong near the front, sometimes at the front, and that's where he is today, putting in a predictable and reliable Rick Cardle effort.
Yeah, I mean, you made him sound quite mediocre there. He is quite rapid, and he does put on the show. But you are right; he is Mr. Consistent. If you want to use a turn of phrase, I'll agree with you.
I can think of far worse things to be called as a racing driver than reliable and consistent.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that afterwards.
Terrible and dangerous, perhaps. That's not Rick by any stretch.
Well, here we are. Magic's been swallowed up then and spat out by Unite as we head up the home straight for the fourth time or fifth time, maths. And Magic is trying to have a go back. He's going to go to the outside, which might work by the time he gets to turn one.
I'm watching a little bit. Yeah, he did. I'm watching a little bit further back at these guys. We're supposed to remain impartial, but I'm the secretary and treasurer of the Number fan club.
Yeah, you are.
He's worked his way up from 21st, running there in 13th. So good show from him. He started all the way at the back in race one and worked his way up to, I think it was 20th to 21st position, and now he's there in 13th. He's had a bit of a scrap with Orhan here, and I think Orhan is going to be all over him, perhaps next to him, but once again coming to the hairpins. But good show from him. I think he put together this effort on relatively short notice, because we would normally expect to see him further up the order, but he's making up places.
Well, actually, we'd expect to see him in the commentary box, but as you're aware, Travis, he's been a little bit under the weather. So the fact he's racing at all is good. But yeah, there we are. Currently having a nice fight with Orhan.
Yeah, actually, just by happenstance, we managed to catch him when he's in the middle of a really good battle. He'll do the undercut here, and can't quite get alongside, but he can use the slipstream to get dragged up the hill, and I think they'll go at it once more when they make it around the bend and up to the top of the hill here.
Yeah, this is exactly why this track is called the Oval of Aston, because, well, you just end up with this. You end up with slipstreaming happening, overtaking happening. The order's different every single corner, and it's just an all-round great time. And it's not as boring as an oval. Sorry, Travis, because there are chicanes and there's actually right-handers. It's great.
Well, there are. You often find chicanes on more traditional ovals. That was my Indy 500 experience this year, but that's. I digress. That is neither here nor there. Speaking of overtaking, while we were entertaining ourselves and neglecting our audience, at the front, Gabor has fallen back to third position. Pekka Koivunen got through.
Wow.
So Gabor going backward. TJ now right behind Gabor. Rick Cardall. We were talking about him a moment ago. He's picked up the pace a little bit and is now right on the back of TJ. So Yoni extending the lead. It is growing ever so slightly. He's got it up to 1.6 seconds, and second through fifth are all right there, nose to tail.
Yeah, the fastest lap of the race has been bouncing around the kind of fifth, fourth, sixth positions. Unite's had it, now Fnatic's got it, but they're not putting in consistent enough lap times to close that 1.6 second gap. And Gabor again, I think he's going to catch Pekka on the run down to the hairpins, and they're just going to trip over each other again. So we'll have to see if they can work together, because they're going to need to if any of these guys want to win, unless Yoni does what Mantas did in the previous race, but I doubt it. Yoni doesn't make those sorts of mistakes normally, so we'll see.
No, he doesn't. And these kind of cars, if we were running something like the FO8's probably an extreme example, but even the Fox, if these guys were running nose to tail with the Fox, they could drive it you're more or less exactly like you would an oval, where they have enough momentum and there's enough aerodynamic drag that there's a big advantage to running in the slipstream, and they could trade positions to gain time on Yoni. They don't have that here with these cars. Not quite enough power. Well, about the same amount of power, but a lot more weight and much less aerodynamic influence. So they could gain a little bit of advantage trading slipstream, but really it behooves all of these drivers trying to chase Yoni to just be smooth, avoid fighting as much as they possibly can. And speaking of, we see Pekka Koivunen and Gabor doing the opposite right now. They're going to go side by side into the hairpin and lose a little bit more time. It's the equipment doesn't lend itself to coordinating and cooperating like it would on a different track or with a slightly more nimble machine. But 1.8 seconds isn't that big a lead, and they still have to take pit stops, so it could shake it up a little bit. As you said, like, Yoni typically doesn't make big mistakes. We know he'll be just as good into and out of pit lane as he will anywhere else on the circuit, but a lot of time remaining, anything could happen.
Yeah, I went on board with TJ there because I thought he was going to have a good chance at a good exit, but Gabor and Koivunen nailed it. Gabor pulls out the slipstream now on Koivunen, and they're going to do that dance again. I'm actually quite surprised that the gap between Yoni and Koivunen didn't go up at all in the last sector there. So let's see. Even though they're fighting, they still have pace, but we're running out of laps now. That is fact, and Yoni is being allowed to take this win and run off into the sunset with it.
Yeah, he really is. I think we started a little bit skeptical and talked about how Yoni will build the pace and learn and absorb, and that's exactly what he's doing. That gap is climbing ever so slightly, and Gabor and Pekka once again not doing themselves any favors, though they are doing TJ a favor. TJ wants a prayer of getting to the front, or at least having a chance to fight Yoni. He wants to see more of this, and I think he would enjoy even more seeing these two guys come together or slide off like that. Gabor goes wide and takes Pekka Koivunen with him.
Wow.
I am a wizard. Incredible timing.
That was brilliant,
is through, looking, just hunting for a mistake, and then they dropped one in his lap. There you have it. TJ up to second, and Rick Cardall, Mr. Consistency, right there behind him on a podium position now.
Yeah, well, that's how quickly things can change, even in a slowish car like we have here with the GTIs. If you're watching this and you've thought, I like this, I like watching this, I want to drive it, well, you can, because this league happens every Thursday. You just have to make sure you're on the server just around about an hour before the start of the race for qualifying, and then you have to be one of the fastest 40 in the one-shot qualifying they have here for this series. So one out lap, one hot lap, and that's it. That's your qualifying effort. And then after all your other competitors have done their laps, you find out whether you qualified or not. Give it a go. It's a good fun league to get involved in. And we commentate and broadcast the first round every month. And we are on round 23 today, the second week of June. Couldn't do last week's round for various reasons, but we're here. And it is shuffling up at the front. Yoni Katila is 4 laps away then from securing victory in race 2, but behind him he's now got TJ with some clear air and the 2 Sidus guys. Can these guys work together any better than Gabor could with TJ?
Well, they will have one small advantage, and that is that they can, or they should be, given that they're in the same team, they can communicate with each other, in a more sophisticated way than hitting keyboard shortcuts to try to indicate their intent. But Yoni, the gap is getting even bigger. TJ is about as far off the lead as he was before he was gifted second position, but he's not made any time. Yoni is just doing what Yoni does out in front, run consistent laps at alien speeds. So I think Rick and Gabor might have a shot working together to get TJ, but I don't think anyone is going to touch Yoni without Yoni making a mistake, or TJ finding some shocking pace in the final 3 laps.
Yeah, the gap is now 2.5 seconds, so these guys will just be focusing on podiums, and if they end up being close enough to Yoni at the end, they end up being close enough to Yoni at the end. It's as simple as that. So TJ is currently trying to hold on to his P2, and well, they have just taken 2 tenths out of Yoni, but I don't think there's time unless Yoni makes a mistake, and as we've said before, that doesn't really happen ever.
No, they could take 2 or 3 tenths out of every split, and it still wouldn't be quite enough. So Yoni looking really comfortable. Gabor probably feeling a bit silly, though he has gotten past his teammate. He fell further back. Rick Cardall was ahead of them briefly when Gabor and Pekka Koivunen went off, but now Gabor has resumed third position. I suspect Rick probably let him have that, given how the gap is growing slightly. It's up to about 6 tenths. I suppose maybe he's just let Gabor go to try to do the best he can with TJ. But as it is right now, looks like it might finish this way. But we do have a pit stop remaining. And pit stops always have potential to shake things up. They did in the previous race, Pete. We had that photo finish for the top spot.
Yeah.
After the Born to Race driver, Isaacs was disinherited from the lead after taking a penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, and you'd be forgiven for thinking this race had 6 drivers in it because we've been so focused at the front, but there are actually 38 cars in this race, would you believe? But yeah, good battles up and down the field. We're watching Number again, trying to get that place back on Mantas, who is currently up to P19 after his disastrous end to race 1. So not really much of a recovery drive here, unfortunately for him. But he has the pace. He can take that forward into future rounds.
He can indeed. I think
he's made a pit stop actually. So
yes,
I think who's that going off? Is that Rick Cardle? Yes, it is. It's Mr. Consistent. Oh, Travis, I'll leave it to you, mate.
Yeah, well, I guess I win some and I lose some. That little incident we had earlier where TJ was able to take second position was just kind of gifted to me, a brilliant prediction, and now I've jinxed poor Rick Cardall. Made a little bit of a mistake. It's easy to go wide there. That corner opens up, and there's a nice wide white line at the edge of the circuit, and there's a bit of pavement beyond it that you can use to carry the car a bit wider, carry a little bit more speed out of the corner, but it's dirt and grass beyond that, so if you get a little bit too far beyond the white line, there is no grip, and the car takes off for the fence, and it appears that's what happened to Rick Cardall. So it puts Pekka Koivunen back up to fourth. Gabor now comfortably in third position, and TJ, that gap is stuck about 2.2 seconds, so not really making any progress on Yoni, who will have to stop either the end of this lap or the end of the next one, because we are coming up on the end of the race.
We are. It's almost upon us. It's been a very entertaining evening of racing. Of course, as we always see in GTI Thursday. GTIs are they never disappoint. That is as simple as that. There is never a dull race when you've got 2 sprint races back to back with a reverse grid thrown in. And we've seen that again here today. Let's see how race 2 finishes, though. A few laps to go before we can call it a night. But it is TJ who is trying to hold on from Gabor, who's gone from the back of the grid in race 1 up to P3 in race 2. And he didn't even get a leg up, did he? I don't think he got much of a leg up in race in the start of race 2. as we see Unite pitting.
Nope, bit of a schmozzle in the back. Orhan and Number fighting one another again. I just looked over to it, and I think maybe they collected each other in the hairpin, and now they have a nice 4-way fight for. Oh, I think this is about 20th position or so. Yeah, 18th through 21st as somebody gets into the tires.
Yeah, Number clouded the tires as well there on the other side of the chicane.
My gift for timing pays off again. A little bit of excitement there. Yeah, TJ and Gabor, I've noticed that they are. Ooh, here we go. It was a nice 3-wide battle all the way through these bends and up the hill here. This has potential for tears. Now we're going to tuck in and run 2 wide into the first corner instead of 3 wide in the middle. Well, I say that, and it looks like he's thinking about it. He's considering it. Oh, they just touch it. They're braking. All 3 of them are going to come off the circuit, Pete. Oh, no.
Well, that's going to gift all of the cars that were behind, including Number, free pass through the field. He'll be well. They'll enjoy that a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that looked to you. It looked like it might have been a bit of netcode to me because I think there was room there in the middle. I would not have tried that myself, but I think there was space, and I think, yeah, either
too much momentum into the rear quarter panel can spin the car pretty easily. It's
well, yeah. I think he either miscalculated just how close he was, or a bit of a netcode collision, and then all 3 of them go spinning off. We need to look to the front because Yanni will be due for his pit stop any second now. He should be. We're watching Fela right there. Yeah, the leaders should be coming around to the pit entry any second now.
Yeah, it's a good level of the pit stop because even though Yanni has a 2.1 second gap now, it can all come undone as we saw in race 1. So keep an eye out for those penalties, Travis. We can't afford to miss any of those this time round. We'll see what is what in about 30 seconds time. TJ, well, he and Gabor will surely be racing each other out of the pit lane again. That's a given. But what is Yanni going to do? Let's see.
Well, he's going to take a more conservative line through the chicane than his competitors have. Before that excitement earlier, I was going to say that Gabor and TJ have been trying awfully hard through the chicane, and I think it's actually costing them time. Mandula has messages for everyone in the server. Gabor is on track. Watch out for him. Yeah. And there, Yoni is stopped and away. No indication of any penalties, so unless he comes up to speed a little too quickly over the line, he should be good. TJ is going to be in front of Gabor, not alongside, and now all 3 of them accelerating out of pit lane.
Fatal.
No penalties.
Fatal must
no
have
penalties.
been.
It's a straight fight.
Fatal was the top car who didn't pit, and I don't think he's going to be that close to Yanni, but he might be able to get TJ. He might just be able to get TJ. How's the gap? Ooh, I don't think so. It's close, though. He might be able to get P3
it is
here.
Close.
Oh, that's good stuff from Fatal. That's actually shocked me there because I didn't see that happen. Obviously, he pitted a long time ago. Is he going to get TJ? Is he going to go for the send? Not quite. He wasn't brave enough, but look how close it was in the end between these 3. That's impressive from Fatal to work his way through traffic and get back up into a potential podium.
Yeah, it really is, and it looked like he was late on the brakes and pitched the car in over the curb. It looked like he was ready to actually make the or attempt to make the pass there, and TJ just slammed the door on him. Fatal thought better of it, dragged the brake, breathed the throttle to avoid collecting TJ.
TJ goes defensive.
He's got a run. Yeah, TJ goes defensive. Fatal got a run on the outside here, so if Fatal can hold the outside line around TJ, he'll go wide so he can carry the speed, and if he could be alongside into the hairpin, he cannot. Well, if he could have, the inside position here would have given him a big advantage, but they will run nose to tail just a second or so behind Yanni. So they made time on Yanni, but I don't know that it'll be enough. I think we're watching a race for second position, Pete.
We are indeed. There are battles further on, but let's keep an eye on this. We have 1 straight to go before we will find out who is going to finish on our podium. Gabor, don't count him out. If these 2 have an error, we've seen errors all throughout this evening. If there are more errors into the chicane, then it could hand a Sidus podium. Sidus, Gabor's currently got the fastest lap, so he's more than qualified to take a podium position here if it works out for him. But fair play to Fatal for pitting early on, managing the traffic as best he could, and then emerging in this position. I don't think even he expected this to happen, did he?
Yeah, I doubt he would have. That is really impressive management of traffic to actually make up the positions and get up to and then hold third place. I would not have predicted that anyone could do that because there's just so much traffic. It's so unpredictable. But he's made it work. He's over the final bends, just clips the tire barrier, but that won't slow him down. And here he comes. Take him across the line, Pete.
Yoni Katilla, under the guise of Sidus Monkey, will win race number 2, followed by TJ and a surprise in Fragmaster's Fatal, who rounds out our podium. That was absolutely excellent. Gabor, fastest lap in P4, and Iron Donny, another solid result there in P5. Unite has to settle for P6. Fnatic, Koivunen, Twincam, and Loco round out your top 10. And Travis, I believe you've got to leave us there. So thanks very much for joining us for commentary today, and I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, that was a blast. Thank you very much for having me. Sorry I have to leave on such short notice, but I've got other obligations. This was a great race. Congratulations to Yoni putting on the show at the front. I'm sorry to Rick Cardall. He finishes in 15th position. He won't benefit from a third race where he gets reversed up to first. But that was a great show from everybody. I enjoyed that thoroughly, and thank you very much. I look forward to the next one.
See you later, Travis. Thanks very much. 31 finishes so far. A couple more coming across the line now to bring us to our total finishing amount of cars of 438, I believe we'll have us at the end here. But yeah, a very nice race from Yoni Katilla there, and again from TJ, and especially Fatal, as we mentioned. He pulled the blinder there to claw his way back up through the results. Didn't quite work out for Gabor. He normally likes to try and go from last to first. He only made it up to 4th, but still a really good effort. And just a few more cars to come across the line before we'll do the full rundown of the order. First race won by Fnatic. He finishes in P7 in race 2. Wasn't able to make as much progress as TJ, who managed to get onto the second step of the podium then on this occasion. Apologies, we weren't able to show much of the racing here. That's just the nature of AS3. We can only really choose the side-by-side battles because that is the nature of the track. There's so much going on with the slipstreaming, and obviously the opportunities that affords into the hairpins and chicanes. I think that is everyone across the line. So let's get the full rundown of our results and wrap things up here from Fragmaster's GTI Thursday series, round number 23 at Aston National. Yoni Katilla, World Class Lions, Yoni Katilla finishing in 26 minutes 39.69. He wins ahead of TJ and Fragmaster's Fatal. Then we've got Gabor, Donny, Unite, Fnatic, Koivunen, Twincam, and Loco rounding out the top 10. So not such a good race too for Born to Race, but still solid points for the team. Then Owner, Asker, Firestarter, Rayman, Rick Cardle, Orhan, Hernandez, Luke, Number, and Onifus round out your top 20. So that spin really hurts Rick Cardle in the end. It wasn't really a spin. He went wide onto the grass and the gravel, and that gravel trap really does pull you in if you drop even a tread block on that gravel. So not a good afternoon for him. A good afternoon for Fatal and Fragmaster, his teammates down in P19 and 20 there. Let's check out the second page of the results then. Here they are. And we have Rubik, Tobis, Nozzle, Tateem, Yari Katilla, Pablo, Jonon, Magic, Hachiroku, and Rocket round out the top 30. Then Nico, Felis Chuvez, Cabazon, Mantas, Ortiz, Lara, Afterburner, and Francis there in P38, classified 11 laps down. And as we mentioned, it was Gabor who got the fastest lap. It was, as far as I'm aware, it was 600 slower than the fastest lap in race 1. But such is the nature of reverse grid races. You have to do a lot more work to pull yourself through the field in the second race of the day. And that's all she wrote for round 23. I hope you enjoyed it all, of course. And thank you very much for tuning into the Sim Broadcasts channel for coverage. I'll just check very quickly if we have any interviews, but I don't think we do have any lined up for this round. All that's left to say is a very big thank you to everyone for turning up to race this evening. And of course, everyone who watched the broadcast. You can watch it back on our YouTube channel or on Twitch. We are at Sim Broadcasts on Twitter and Facebook as well, if you want to go and follow us there. And we very much appreciate you subscribing and liking the video on our YouTube channel. If you want to get involved in GTI Thursday and Live for Speed, thoroughly recommended. And all the action you saw tonight is probably going to happen all over again next week. So please check out the Fragmasters GTI Thursday series forum posts on the LFS forum at lfs.net. That's all from us at Sim Broadcasts. We hope you have a great evening, and we'll see you again at the next one. Good night.